Hello everyone. Before starting the video, subscribe to the channel, because there are many different scary adventures. In a small village nestled deep in the forest, there lived a little girl named Lily. She was known throughout the village for her bright smile and kind heart. She lived with her parents, who were both farmers, in a small cottage near the edge of the village. One day, while playing in the forest, Lily stumbled upon a strange clearing she had never seen before. As she walked deeper into the clearing, she noticed something odd about the trees. They seemed to be moving and swaying, even though there was no wind. Suddenly, the trees stopped moving and everything grew quiet. That's when Lily heard a faint whisper. She looked around but could see no one. The whisper grew louder, and she realized that it was coming from behind her. She turned around, and there standing before her was an old woman. She was wearing a tattered dress, and her skin was wrinkled and gray. "Hello, my dear," the old woman said with a cackle. "What brings you to my forest?" Lily didn't know what to say. She was frightened but also curious. "I was just exploring," she replied softly. The old woman looked at Lily with her piercing green eyes. "You have a kind heart," she said. "I can sense it. I have a gift for you." The old woman reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, wooden box. "Take this, my dear. It will protect you from harm." Lily hesitated for a moment but then reached out to take the box. As soon as she touched it, the old woman vanished into thin air. Lily ran back to her cottage, eager to show her parents the gift she had received. When she got home, she burst through the door and held up the box for her parents to see. "That is a curious thing," her father said. "Where did you get it?" Lily told them about the old woman in the forest and how she had given her the box. Her parents looked at each other, concerned. "Lily, you must be careful," her mother said. "There are stories of a witch who lives in the forest. She's been known to give gifts to children, but they're never what they seem." Lily didn't know what to make of her parents' warning. She was grateful for the gift and felt that it would protect her from harm. Days turned into weeks, and Lily grew more and more attached to the wooden box. She carried it with her wherever she went and never let it out of her sight. But one day, while playing near the village well, Lily accidentally dropped the box. It fell into the well, and she heard a faint splash. Lily was devastated. She knew that the box was important and had been given to her by the old woman for a reason. She begged her parents to help her retrieve it, but they refused, saying that the well was too deep and dangerous. That night, Lily went to bed feeling sad and alone. But as she lay in bed, she heard a faint whisper. It was the same voice she had heard in the forest, the voice of the old woman. "Dear Lily," the old woman whispered, "don't be afraid. I will help you retrieve the box from the well. All you have to do is come into the forest and find me." Lily knew that she shouldn't go into the forest alone, but she couldn't resist the promise of retrieving the box. So, the next morning, she snuck out of the house and made her way into the forest. As she walked deeper into the forest, the trees began to close in around her. She felt a chill run down her spine and wished that she had listened to her parents' warning. But she kept walking, driven by her desire to retrieve the box. Finally, Lily arrived at the clearing where she had met the old woman. But this time, the old woman was nowhere to be seen. Lily called out for her, but there was no response. Suddenly, Lily felt a cold hand on her shoulder. She turned around and saw the old woman standing behind her. "Dear Lily," the old woman said with a sinister smile, "I've been waiting for you." Lily was frightened now. She had a feeling that something was not right. "Please, I just want my box," she pleaded. The old woman laughed. "Oh, my dear, you don't need that box anymore. I gave it to you to lure you here." Lily tried to run, but the old woman was too fast. She grabbed Lily by the arm and pulled her towards a small hut that Lily hadn't noticed before. The old woman pushed Lily inside and locked the door behind her. Lily looked around the hut and realized that it was filled with cages. In each cage, there was a child, all of them from the village. They looked scared and confused. The old woman approached Lily and said, "You see, my dear, I need children to perform my magic. And you, with your kind heart, are the perfect candidate." Lily screamed and tried to run, but the old woman had cast a spell on the door, trapping her inside. Lily was trapped, and she knew that she was never going to escape. The village searched for Lily, but they could never find her. She had disappeared without a trace. But every now and then, the villagers would hear a faint whisper in the wind, a whisper that sounded like Lily's voice, calling out for help. But they could never find her, and the forest remained a dark and mysterious place, full of secrets and dangers that were better left unexplored. In the small village of Stone Creek, nestled between the mountains, there lived a little girl named Emily. Emily was a bright and curious child, always eager to explore the world around her. She lived with her parents in a cozy cottage near the edge of the village. One day, while walking through the woods, Emily stumbled upon an old abandoned cabin. The cabin was run down and looked like it had been abandoned for years. Emily, being the curious child that she was, decided to explore the cabin. As she stepped inside, she noticed something odd. The cabin was completely empty, except for one small room at the back of the cabin. Emily cautiously approached the room and slowly pushed open the door. Inside, she found a dusty old book lying on a table. The book was old and worn, with strange symbols etched onto the cover. Emily picked up the book and opened it to the first page. As she read the first few lines, she suddenly felt a chill run down her spine. The book was filled with stories of a dark and evil spirit that haunted the woods around Stone Creek. The spirit was said to lure children into the woods and take them away forever. Emily shuddered and quickly closed the book. She knew that she had to get out of the cabin and back to her parents. But as she turned to leave, she heard a strange whispering sound coming from the corner of the room. "Emily," the voice whispered, "stay with me. I can show you the secrets of the forest. Together, we can explore the mysteries of Stone Creek." Emily spun around but saw nothing. She knew that she had to leave the cabin and get back to her parents, but something inside her was telling her to stay. "Who are you?" Emily whispered, her voice trembling. "I am the spirit of the forest," the voice whispered back. "I have been waiting for someone like you for a long time. Someone curious and brave. Someone who isn't afraid of the dark." Emily's heart was racing, and she knew that she had to leave. But as she turned to go, something caught her eye. A glimmer of light was coming from the dark corner of the room. Curiosity getting the best of her, Emily slowly approached the corner. As she got closer, she realized that the light was coming from a small crystal ball sitting on a pedestal. Emily reached out to touch the crystal ball, but as soon as her finger brushed against it, she was plunged into darkness. She couldn't see anything, and she couldn't move. She was completely paralyzed. The voice whispered again, closer this time. "Welcome to the darkness, Emily. You are mine now." Emily screamed, but no sound came out. She was trapped in the darkness, with no way out. Days turned into weeks, and the village of Stone Creek searched desperately for Emily. They combed the woods, searched the cabins, and scoured the mountains, but she was nowhere to be found. It wasn't until years later that a group of hunters stumbled upon the old abandoned cabin. Inside, they found Emily's body, still frozen in the darkness. The villagers mourned the loss of Emily, but they also learned a valuable lesson. They warned their children never to venture too far into the woods, for the spirit of the forest was always watching, waiting for its next victim.